Ruminations. We are reading the very last story in Ruminations. Rumi is a Sufi poet that will always be cherished in our heart. Even from almost a millennia ago, his poems still ring true. This is a short story that he has written, so we have really saved the best for last. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. It's called The Tale of a Bedouin and his wife. Now, what is a Bedouin? This is something I should probably find out before we read. It's a nomadic Arab of the desert. A nomad. Alright. One night. Actually, I should find out how to pronounce that too, shouldn't I?
Bedouin.
Bedouin. One night, a Bedouin woman said to her husband, "We are suffering hardship and poverty, while all the world is better off than us, and we alone are unhappy. We have no bread, and our only condition is envy. We have no jug, and our only water is our tears. Our only clothing by day is the burning sunshine, and at night only the moonbeams cover us. We imagine the moon to be a loaf of pita bread, and we stretch our hands towards the sky. The poorest of the poor are embarrassed before our poverty. What gifts can we give? We are such beggars, we would slit the vein of a gnat in the air. If any guest ever arrived here, I swear I would go for his tattered coat in the middle of the night." Her husband answered her, "How long will you seek money and seed to sow? What is left of our lives? Most of it is past. A sensible person doesn't dwell on getting more or having less, because both will pass like a torrent, and whether the torrent is limpid and clear or just a turbid flood, don't speak of it, for it passes in a moment. The dove is on the tree, singing praises even though its evening meal is not yet prepared. The falcon has made the king's pleasure his joy and is disinterested in carrion. Every animal, from the gnat to the elephant, knows it is part of God's family. And what nourishment does God provide? Oh, what nourishment does God provide? All of the worries that arise within our breast arise from the dust and wind of our existence. Sorrow uproots like a scythe, and every pain is a piece of death. Expel this death if you can, and if you cannot escape a part of death, know that eventually the whole part of it will be poured upon your head. But if that part of death has become sweet to you, know that God will make the whole of it sweet. Whoever lives sweetly dies bitterly. Whoever serves only the body loses the soul. Sheep are herded from the fields to the town. The fatter they are, the faster they are killed. Night is gone and dawn has come. How will you tell the same old tale of gold? You were young and contented once. Now you want gold? Once you yourself were the gold. You are my wife. Husband and wife must be equal for things to go well. If a pair of shoes must match each other, marriage partners must also match each other. If one of the shoes is tight, the pair is of no use. Have you ever seen a pair of folding doors of unequal size, or a wolf mated to a lion of the jungle, or one camel's bag much heavier than the other? I am going toward contentment with a strong heart, while you are complaining more and more." Then the wife answered, "You hypocrite! Reputation is your religion. I am not under your spell anymore. I've had enough of your pretension and nonsense. Your pompous words are unfortunately accompanied by your actions. If you could see yourself, you'd be ashamed. When did you ever know real contentment, except for the word? The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, 'Contentment is a treasure,' but you have confused the pain with the gain. Contentment is the soul's treasure. Don't boast of possessing it, O pain of my soul. Don't call yourself my husband. Don't display your fraudulent affection. My partner is justice, not fraudulence. Don't look at me with your cold contempt, or I'll tell everyone what flows in your veins. You think you're so superior. Have you really known what is inside of me? You have tried to beguile me with the name of God, but if I was beguiled by God's name, you certainly deserve no credit for it. You tried to make the name of God your trap. Don't be surprised if that name takes its vengeance on you for my sake. I surrender my body and soul to the name of God." And so she continued to recite volumes of this kind of abuse. "O woman," he said, "are you a woman of the father of sorrow? Poverty is my pride, but poverty is beyond your comprehension. Because dervishes are beyond property and wealth, they possess an abundant portion of the Almighty. God the Most High is just. How could he be tyrannical toward the poor and weak? I desire nothing from created beings. Through contentment I have found a world within my heart. But you, as if sitting on the high branch of a pear tree, see things in your own distorted way. Why don't you come to the ground where you may lose your strange way of thinking? If someone spins round and round, it looks as if the whole world is spinning, but really you are the one who is revolving." When the wife saw how fierce her husband had become, she began to weep. Tears are a woman's lure. "I never imagined you would talk to me like this. I hoped for something else from you." She adopted the strategy of deference. "I am your dust, an unworthy wife. My soul and my body, everything, I am yours. If poverty has driven me to desperation, it is not for my own sake, but for yours. You have always been the remedy for my afflictions. I am unwilling to see you penniless. But by my soul and conscience, this was not for my sake, but all my sorrow was for your sake. By God, I would die for you. Since I have earned your displeasure, my own body and soul tire me. Gold and silver are less than dirt to me now. You are the only comfort of my soul. Remember when I was as beautiful as an idol, and you were the idol worshipper. I, your slave, have kindled my heart to comply with you. I am your spinach, so cook me any way you wish. My blasphemy has turned to faith. Let your own conscience plead on my behalf. I leave the outcome to your noble nature." While she spoke these words through her own tears, she who was a charmer even without tears, lightning flashed in the midst of this downpour, a spark of fire that entered the lonely man's heart. What hope is there when a woman whose beauty is enough to enslave a man becomes herself his slave? A woman whose haughtiness could cause a man to tremble falls weeping at his feet. God has arranged that the beauty of woman is decked out for man. How can a man escape from what God has arranged? Inasmuch as he created woman as a comfort to man, how can Adam escape from Eve? If outwardly a man seems to dominate his wife, inwardly he is dominated and seeking her love. This human characteristic is one that even the other animals wish to possess. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that woman prevails over the wise man, while on the other hand, the ignorant man prevails over her. And so he began to feel sorry for her and all the things that he had said. He began to wonder how he could have ever been so critical of her who was the life of his soul. The man said, "My dear wife, I am sorry. I have been faithless, but now I am surrendered. If I have sinned against you, don't dig me up by the roots." And so, if you are seeking some moral from the story of the argument between the Bedouin and his wife, consider it an analogy of your own flesh and reason. The man and the wife are both necessary for the manifestation of good and evil. This couple is engaged day and night in this argument in this house of earth. The wife is craving things for the household, bread and other morsels, good name and approval of society. Like the wife, your flesh, your body has recourse sometimes to humility and sometimes domination. Reason, however, is unaware of all these desires, and in its brain is nothing but the love of God. Now listen to this tale in its entirety. If a spiritual explanation were enough, the creation of this whole world would have been an idle undertaking. If love consisted only of spiritual meaning, the forms of fasting and prayer would not be necessary. The gifts that lovers give to each other are, compared to love itself, nothing but forms. And yet these gifts are testimony to the secret of love. May we be given the discernment to know the false indication from the true. The man said, "I won't oppose you any longer. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do. I dissolve my existence in yours because I am your lover. Love makes me blind and deaf." The wife said, "I wonder if your words are true, or whether you are trying to seduce me and learn my secret." "No, by God," he said, "who knows what is most hidden, and who created Adam pure and placed in him all that the tablets of destiny and the world of spirits contain? When the angels saw and heard Adam and his knowledge of the divine names, they said, 'Before this time we had a friendship with the dust of the earth and were planting the seeds of sacredness.' We often asked ourselves, why do we who are pure light have this friendship with darkness? Adam, that friendship was an expectation of the scent of you, because that dust formed the warp and woof of your body. When God first asked us to come here, it was a bitter request, and we argued, 'Will you sell the splendor of our praise for this earthly banter and nonsense?' But God's decree was an invitation to behold. He said, 'Isn't my mercy so much greater than my wrath?' In order to make the superiority of mercy even clearer, I have to allow this perplexity and doubt. I must allow you to speak and not to take offense at what is said. Within this mercy 100 mothers and fathers appear and vanish. The mercies of all these parents are only the foam on the sea of my mercy. Their mercy comes and goes while mine remains forever. By the truth of that foam and that pure sea, I swear that my words are not meant to test you. My words are from sincerity and humbleness. If you think my words might not be true, put me to the test. Reveal your secret desire, so that I may show you my inner secret. Ask me to do anything so that I may accept whatever I am capable of doing." "The sun has begun to shine," said the wife, "in the form of a great caliph in Baghdad. If you can gain access to that king, you yourself will become a king. Otherwise, you will only continue to dwell amidst misfortune. Companionship with the fortunate is like an elixir. How shall I approach this caliph? What pretext may I present?" God has said, "Come ye, in order to dispel our feelings of shame." What can I show him that will make my own lack of means clear? Because the caliph requires truth, not pretension. When anyone stands up, purified of self-existence, that is the unpretentious truth. Take this jug of rainwater as a gift and depart for the presence of the caliph. Tell him, there is no more precious gift in the desert than this. Even if his treasury is full of gold and jewels, he doesn't get water like this. What is this jug, if not this limiting body of ours, filled with the briny water of our senses? We have been told God has bought the believers' lives in return for paradise. It's a jug with 5 spouts. Keep it pure so that you can carry it to the king, and the king will purchase it from you. Close your eyes to vain desire, stop up its spouts, and keep it filled with water from the sea of reality. Yes, I am sure the caliph has never received a gift like this before. Stop up the mouth of the jug and sew a felt covering for it, so that it may arrive safely to the caliph and he may use it to break his fast. There is no water like this in the world. How could he know what the caliph's circumstances might be, since he has never escaped his own fleeting caravanserai? His hands trembled all the way to Baghdad as he carried his precious gift. Meanwhile, his wife unrolled the prayer carpet and prayed to her Lord for the water's safe journey to the sea. My husband is quite clever, she thought, but our treasure will face many enemies. When he did finally arrive in Baghdad, he saw before him a bountiful court with many who were seeking help. High and low, they were all quickened with life, like the whole world arising to the trumpet of the resurrection. He heard a loud call, "Come, seekers! Abundance is seeking beggars, just as beauty seeks a mirror." Beggars are the mirrors of God's abundance, and those who have united with God become that abundance. The court officers of the caliph were at the palace sprinkling rose water on all on all comers, those that came. It was their duty to assess the need of each and fulfill it even before being asked, "O chief of the Arabs, how has your journey been?" "I am a stranger," he said, "and I have come from the desert in hope of gaining the grace of the Sultan. His fragrance has spread through the desert, and every grain of sand was touched by his soulfulness. I came to this court in quest of wealth, but as soon as I entered the portico, I became the seat of honor, and now I move around this court freed from any desire, like the revolving spheres of heaven. Everything in existence moves in order to gain some benefit, except the bodies and souls of God's lovers." He presented the jug of water and said, "Take this gift to the Sultan. It is sweet water in a new green jug." The official smiled, but accepted it as if it were as precious as life itself. because the courtiers had become imbued with the graciousness of the Sultan himself. Regard the Sultan as a reservoir with pipes running in every direction, every one of which gives water sweet to taste. But if the water in the reservoir is brackish and dirty, every pipe will produce the same. Consider how the grace of that dimensionless spirit has produced effects on the whole body, and how intelligence brings the whole body into discipline, and how love, restless and uncontrolled, throws the whole body into a madness. For whatever knowledge a master is renowned, you will get the same from his pupils. Theologians, lawyers, grammarians all produce students imbued with their knowledge, and again the master absorbed in the way of Sufism will produce students absorbed in God. And of all these different kinds of knowledge, the best equipment and provision on the day of death is the knowledge of spiritual poverty. When the Caliph saw the gift and heard the story of the Bedouin, he filled the jug with gold and added other presents, and told his courtiers to help him return by way of the Tigris River. Since he has come here through the desert, it will be shorter for him to return by way of the river. When the Arab embarked on the boat and saw the Tigris for the first time, he prostrated himself in humility and thankfulness. The Caliph is so generous, and how wonderful that he took my gift of water. Everything in the universe is a jug filled to the brim with wisdom and beauty. This whole universe is a drop of the Tigris of his beauty. His beauty was a hidden treasure which burst forth and made this earth more resplendent than the heavens. And if the Arab had seen just a branch of the Tigris, he would have destroyed the jug. But the jug is only improved by being shattered. Every piece of it dances in ecstasy, though to the limited mind this sounds absurd. And that concludes the tale of the Bedouin and his wife. So too, if we may turn to the Divine Feminine and ask of her the secret that she guards so dearly, we may find that Tigris that leads us back to the source of all waters. Thank you for listening, and everyone who ever came here to listen to a portion of the Pocket Rumi, as we have finally finished this book. And how grateful I am to be able to listen to the poetry of the Sufis, the mystical branch of Islam. Amazing, heart-rending, powerful beyond measure. I have learned so much from this experience, and I trust you have too.